Great. Well, thank you very much for being here. I'm really, really happy to be at the Bitcoin Conference. I was here a year ago, and I was still getting an education on the importance, all the critical importance of Bitcoin. I was so convinced that when I left here, I had just gotten my check from the Monsanto fees from my lawsuits against Monsanto, and I took most of that, which was a very high part of my net worth, and I invested it all in Bitcoin. It's not somewhat, and I think most of you who are committed, most of the Bitcoiners I know who are committed to this extraordinary mechanism are committed to it not because they see it as a way to get rich quick, but they see it as a path for our country, a path of optimism, of idealism, a path to freedom.
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 Yes, freedom. That's right.
Personal liberty, to all of the values that our country stands for: self-sovereignty, property rights, smaller government, the control by transparency, the control, national security. It's the most, I would say, elegant and poetic invention in modern times. It's an invention that serves democracy, it promotes personal freedom, and it is an off-ramp, not only as a hedge against inflation for individual Americans, but an off-ramp from this destructive budget deficit that is going to destroy our country if we don't find a way out. And one of the things that I'm going to do as president, starting on day one, is to end the war against Bitcoin in this country, to make sure that you can have your own nodes, that you can have sovereignty over your own wallet, that it is fully transactable, that it is not taxable. And then I'm going to start the U.S. I'm going to award. Right now, the U.S. government owns about 250,000 Bitcoins. And I am going to, beginning my first term, I'm going to start ordering the Treasury to purchase Bitcoins up to, over the 4 years, 4 million Bitcoins. Woo! I'm going to do that so that we own the equivalent Bitcoins, our country, as we own gold, about 18% of the gold in the world that we own, and that will give us about 18% of the Bitcoin. And that is going to force all the other countries in the world to start recognizing it as a currency. It's an extraordinary currency, it's fully transactable, and we're going to make sure everybody can get it on their cell phone. You can make transactions without paying friction costs to the banks, without paying fees. And it's going to free the whole world, because it's going to free the flow of capital. Nations aren't going to be able to confiscate your belongings and your wealth and tax you as you cross borders. It will give everybody this extraordinary power, and it will make our country strong, because when we are the first adopter of Bitcoin and we own that much of it, it becomes necessary for the rest of the world to do it. We tie the US dollar. It preserves the dollar as the global reserve currency. It makes it so everybody else in the world is going to want to invest in the US dollar, and you're going to see a huge flow of wealth from other countries into our country again. And that's going to help us with our trade deficits, with our budget deficits. And it's going to end the kind of death inflationary spiral that we're dealing with today. But also it's a hedge against totalitarian control, because it can't be controlled by government. And I'm going to make sure that we never have a central bank digital currency in this country, because I have a deep emotional and spiritual commitment to Bitcoin, like so many of you, and that's why you come all the way to Nashville. You wouldn't have done this for, any other form of money if it was just money. Something much bigger than money, and we all know that. I'm so happy that President Trump is going to come here and endorse it, because the more people who understand this, the better it is for our country. So I have that commitment. That commitment comes from deep inside my being. It's a spiritual commitment to Bitcoin, and it's unshakable. So I want to thank all of you for your commitment to that, for your commitment to our country, to those values, to the highest ideals and aspirations, and thank you for your support of my campaign. It was great meeting you all. And I see Jessica Zadu here as one of my great oldest supporters, and not by age. But and anyway, I thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Thank you.